I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up South Florida. Decades before DeSantis, Charley Johns led Florida's first war on queer lives. Long before Ron DeSantis, Charley Johns terrorized queer Floridians, and now award-winning journalist and historian Robert W. Fieseler is uncovering how Johns rose and ultimately fell. Fieseler, known for Tinderbox, returns with a powerful new book, American Scare: Florida's Hidden Cold War on Black and Queer Lives. Using newly uncovered documents, he exposes how the Johns Committee weaponized anti-communism to prosecute black activists, queer teachers, and anyone who threatened Florida's white conservative regime. Fieseler tells LGBTQ Nation, quote, "Especially today, our news cycle continuously chases its tail and fails to account for the historical background needed to understand any given headline," end quote. He explains that moments like the upstairs lounge fire and the Pulse tragedy reveal America's true feelings about marginalized people and why we must understand, quote, deep undercurrents, end quote, behind modern backlash. Fieseler traces today's MAGA playbook, scapegoating, fearmongering, authoritarianism, back to Johns' own tactics. From gerrymandering to smearing queer educators, the committee ruled through intimidation until public outrage, missteps, and unified resistance finally toppled it. The lesson? Strongmen fall when marginalized groups stand together. Fieseler's American Scare was just named a Kirkus Best Book of 2025, cementing him as a leading voice chronicling America's unfinished civil rights battles. As Florida once again targets LGBTQ books, rainbow symbols, and queer youth, Fieseler reminds us that history doesn't repeat, it rhymes loudly. You know, I think this was a wonderful book to be exploring, and also there's a long history of talking about communism and relating it to marginalized groups and queer groups, and some of that is to go after queer voices and marginalized voices. I also, as like the pinko commie that I am, point out that like a lot of the civil rights activists and leaders, many of them were part of the Communist Party, and like the Communist Party was the first group in America's political scene back in 1919 to actually go against racism and segregation. I remember the story of like there was a time that a New York City communist actually didn't want to go into the same bathhouse as a black communist, so he got expelled from the Communist Party at that time, which was radical back then, you know. So, you know, it's an important thing to look at both parts of that story.